So when you as a spirit write a will, that's literally you using your right brain, your ability to use your pen, to write, to create from water into blood, to write from the right hemisphere into the left, so that now whatever you're writing will logically come true because you felt like it. So this is why all stories are just a representation of a spirit's subconscious, and all the words in it are then the consciousness that allows us to connect with the subconscious, right? So this is why as spirits we are not connected. I'm infinitely separate from you. You will never be able to experience, know, or feel how I feel until I feel like using the same light that you're aware of to communicate it to you. And that's me willing my desire into existence. So, willingness to will something is to make your desire real, right? So you can have a desire all day, every day, but until you write it down, until you write it into existence, writing exercises are a big part of the course. And just in general, when you're talking about programming and creating the life of your dreams, literally writing is essential, because that's literally it right there. When you as a spirit have a consciousness that is limited to certain words, your ability to use these lights, to use these words, to write your desires into existence is literally what is building your body and building your dream. That's why the Bible says the Word is God and the Word was with God, because it's just all about that spirit that is telling you it's God is writing its desire into existence through its will. So this is why when there's a will, there's a way. Literally, the will is the right. The writing is the way. When there's a will, there's a way. If you have the will to do it, then you will create the way to do it, because that in and of itself is going to be the fueling desire. Your ability to create comes from desire. You have to want to write something into existence before you do that. So this is why it's so interchangeable. And this is like, I guess my point is symmetry, even like just showing like how fast these two things happen. But like we do need separation though. So thank you, Gavin, because I like that for sure. Desire, even though I'm saying like everything is egoic, when you are working to separate from the ego and be spiritual, quote unquote, and know that you are the spirit expressing yourself, but you are not your expression. Okay, so it's so important to know and to feel and to like always anchor like, okay, I'm expressing myself, but I'm not my expression. And thus other people are expressing themselves, but they are not their expression. That's what has allowed me to build empathy with all these people, all these racist white people who I love. I love racist white people because I know they don't really want to be racist, but they want to connect, right? Like, I mean, racist white people, I've been through so many experiences, so many at conventions where white people would interact with me normally and fun and happily, and we're just like getting along as a great time, but I'm in my Spider-Man costume, so I'm wearing a mask. Okay, so they're interacting with me like I'm Spider-Man. The moment I take my mask off, so many times, I actually lost count, truly. Groups of white people would be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were black, oh wow. Immediately vibrational change. It was remarkable. It's remarkable reflecting on it now. It's remarkable how like they were like, whoa, wait, I was talking to a black person this whole time? And of course it hurts, you know? But like what I had to know as Chase is that they are not the issue. Duh. The issue is the white supremacist government that has colonized their minds and made them ill with this disease of racism and dumbed them down to be so ignorant. So now spirits, they want to connect, but they can only connect in trying to make me feel bad. And it's just so ugly. Because of course, again, that's how the Americas were built, by Europeans coming over who hate themselves, so they can't possibly love indigenous peoples. Just like a white person, like if you're being racist to me and you're showing me that you think that because I'm a black person, I'm not as smart as you, even though I'm literally Hermes, then it doesn't matter what I'm communicating to you. You're perceiving me as a black person, so you're perceiving me as a monkey or a nigger or an animal or just some dog that isn't smart. So then it's weird, because this is how Christians colonize my wisdom. This is how white people will love to say that you're a reflection of them, so now they're going to eat you. They're going to cannibalize your wisdom and convert it into their system. Because then they'll listen to me speak. They'll take all of my wisdom, like, wow, that's really smart. You're really good. And I mean, you're black. So the fact that you're saying this and you're black must mean that I'm smarter because I'm white. And I'm going to eat what you're saying and turn it into something better. And then they create climate change with my hermetic principles. This is why I need to make more words that go beyond disgusting, even though that's the main frequency that I would like to express with these words. So let's start creating some more words. Let's figure that out, so that we can more aptly describe the feeling in Chase's soul when he's addressing colonialism in all the ways that white supremacists use logic to indulge in how they love. And the way that they love is only hating indigenous peoples while acting like it's God's plan. So, I'm just saying that to will yourself into existence is a desire, but the spirit is not the desire. So the spirit is willing the desire. So you as a spirit, you will desires. You write desires into existence. And just like you write your own desires, you will other people's desires for you. Now, of course, there's a balance to this, right? Me being born into this world, I know that as Chase, I have specifically gone through circumstances that I was forced to do things. I'm forced to do all these things that I don't want to do. But because I created the situation for me to do these things, it was intentional on my part. And then that's where I learn about myself, reflecting upon all these things that I was forced to do, but I let myself do them. And this is where life is spiritual. You have to know that you created your body, and you created your body inside of the environment that you're in to ride out a certain wave. Now, this is not excusing any trauma or any negative things that other spirits do to you, especially when you're a child. This is not at all excusing. This is why I'm so passionate about this, and this is the balance of communicating. This is not excusing you being a child, creating a body in a simulation where then you go through a horrible foster care system. Like, my first girlfriend in this lifetime was a girl who got raped by 12 different families and molested by so many partners. This was my first girlfriend in this world, okay? So it's a lot of subconscious weight that I started dealing with coming right into the dating game. This was 8th grade, my first girlfriend, where she would threaten to cut herself in front of me. She would threaten to kill herself if I broke up with her. She would tell me all these stories about how she was raped by just the families, the fathers that she would be put into foster care with. This was really the start of my dating career. Holy shit. She's okay now, by the way. She's developed and she's okay. But wow. Yeah, so again, all intentional, so I can just like not like, it's not for me to go through. I deal with a lot of people who go through these things, and that's just my duty in life in general. So I mean, it's like my first girlfriend had to be a girl that I wanted to know. I like literally learned about myself as a Taurus, and I was like, even to myself in like 7th grade, communicating to myself about like, oh, okay, I'm a Taurus. Like, is this like girls need stability? Like, I'm just supposed to be the earth? And already like thinking in that way, because of course she's so chaotic. She's making me feel like she needs me to live. Again, literally threatening to kill herself if we were breaking up. And just so much. Wow. So I'm saying that to say like, I do not believe and I do not feel that she as a spirit created her circumstances. Here's the weird thing. I know as a spirit that she created her circumstances. And this is where I had to use these words to split up knowing, thinking, and feeling. Because I don't even think she created her circumstances. I don't feel like she did. But I do know she did. Or else she would not have gone through them. So this is where we get cynicism. Me not believing or feeling like she created her circumstances is me being symmetry about that. Is me being somatic. I'm not here like, oh, well, you use hermetic principles to create that kind of life for yourself. No, somatically reflecting and hearing and connecting with all of that and everything that she shared with me through organic communication, no. And then to take it a step further, based on her awareness as a spirit at that time, she was clearly not purposefully using hermeticism and everything that I've developed in past lives to create that experience. No. The N-O, the knowing here is knowing that as a spirit, she created the awareness that allowed her to experience and go through and be aware and make choices and co-create this life with all the spirits who are connecting with her in that way. To me is symmetry. She is a victim of a very messed up world where other spirits who were in their hermetic principles, who were in their intentions of wanting to create life a certain way with this little girl, infringed upon her space and colonized her body, colonized her mind, and penetrated her soul in ways that have now created trauma inside of her and resulted in horrible memories that now I can communicate about based on how she shared that with me. This is how the universe expands. So just somatically, I know that she did not intentionally create that kind of life for herself. That life that she experienced was intentionally created for her by the foster care system and the entities running and fueling the foster care system. And it makes my blood boil. And it's just an extension of the indigenous genocide that makes America great in the first place. She's a white girl. So again, the point is, like, race is not real. So she as a spirit, when she created her ability to come into this lifetime, the fact is as well, just because I feel like this, I can never actually know. I can never actually know why she created the awareness that allowed her to go through those circumstances. Because she would have to connect with herself. She would have to become hermetic after reflecting on her life, fast, go through psychedelic experiences, and connect with her spirit to be able to process why she went through those experiences and then come back into this body and communicate it to me again in this language so that I can communicate it to you. So this is the balance. This is how life is. Okay? And I'm just putting it in my language. So I'm always like, I work to bring my language into whatever language we're using to communicate, so I can make sure that I'm keeping my individuality and thus keeping my freedom of true Caducean Trip C communication. And now you're able to elevate to my level, because I'm not trying to stay on the level of whatever language we're using to communicate. Please. It's all a vibe. So, all I can do as a spirit, and this is like the fact of spirituality, I as a spirit have never met that girl's spirit. I as a spirit have only interacted with her body and how her spirit's mind communicated through that body. So, the fact is that spirits do create life, okay? It's just the point of me expressing everything like this and creating symbolism is to drive in how important empathy is, and drive in how important connections are, and how I don't feel like that girl created intentionally. I do not feel like that girl intentionally created the circumstances where she allowed those people to connect with her. In fact, I believe that's impossible. At such a young age, like when you are a child, the point is you're supposed to be born into a simulation where you are protected by your village, not able to be harvested by the government and made money off of your trauma and abuse. It's so backwards here. And like, it's so wild how everyone supports it because they're lost in light and lies. And I guess just because like they don't care as well. Like people can't afford to care about spirits outside of themselves because they're not really connected with themselves. And here I am as Hermes. Symmetry the superhero. I built Mercury because I can afford to care about spirits outside of myself. I mean, I have more than enough time, more than enough energy, more than enough currency to care about spirits outside of myself. That's why Anubis loves me so much. And that's why I love him too. It's just a matter of we have learned, Anubis and I have learned, it's not worth it to care about and love spirits who don't care about and love themselves. And the universe is constantly getting expanded by spirits who don't care about or love themselves. So the most sustainable way that you could possibly love someone else is to love yourself and build your own simulations, like I'm doing right now by creating this symmetry so we can all connect. If I didn't fully love my ideas and how I felt about my ideas, I wouldn't be able to express them in this way. And thus I wouldn't be able to build a structure to support all of our ascension, just like the pyramids, just like all the, I mean, anything, so many things. I'm not even getting into that. Just any structure for ascension, like right now. Right? So it's all about, this is what love is. True self-love is the caduceus, is ST ability. It is taking your serpents, not outside of you, but inside of you, so you can build a structure that gives the most value to the universe. And from there, you're able to connect with people who also love themselves. And now, the amount of love that you have for yourself is worth it when you connect with this other person. Because now, you're connecting with someone who loves themselves as much as you do. Because they built they've shown to the universe. They built their own simulation, their own structure. They love themselves enough to have done that. So now you two can come together in an even more productive way and create even greater from there. Like me and Anubis. Right? So this is like how you would find a perfect partner. Just in terms of, we're in an age now where it's truly about building your own business. Like this is like the wave. Like even if I wasn't going to be myself as Hermes and build my own business, the fact that I graduated right before the pandemic took out all these jobs and like my degree's worth nothing. It's like it's already just a wave that was set up. So it's only ever worth it to build on yourself. This is what I'm talking about with just when you know that you are a spirit and that you're living multiple lifetimes, you capitalize on your own chi. Mercury is my business. Mercury is my simulation that I use and consistently build. I have lots of spirits helping me build it at this point. It's a very awesome functioning operation. It's clearly integral in astrology. It's integral in astrology throughout the universe. Because astrology is infinite throughout simulations. We're just talking about the system that spirits use to set out how a structure is going to transform over time. And that's all astrology is. And then we have all these ways to categorize and like make that happen. So my role as Mercury in any astrological system, when I get called away into that simulation, is to play the role of communication. I am your mind. I am your intellect. I am your ability to think. I am your ability to process reality, analyze, and be very Virgo Gemini mode, because that's the main energy that I implement when I am expressing myself and creating the simulation of Mercury, of symmetry, the mind of Tahuti Hermes Trismegistus, so that I can reflect upon the universe and communicate about how life is communication. Because it's just always, it's infinitely meta in there. Like, just all, like, okay, I'm here, I'm communicating about how life is created through communication. Here we are. Like, it's that role, to put it as simple as possible. So that's what the mind is, your chi, your ability to communicate. So that's why then I'm here with Dissect the Dialect, just organically. Like, it's been so amazing to organically wipe out my memory. I'm reflecting, this life has been long, 24 years, like, to be real, to be very real. This life has been like reflecting on my whole life and building from the bottom up, from nothing, all the way up to connecting with my spirit and coming back down and like just having this awareness again and knowing that I still have so far to go is remarkable. This is just what I have to do to be relatable though, or else I actually wouldn't be able to focus on reality, the realm that I'm in right now, because I'd be too focused on where I came from. So this is why as spirits we erase our memories when we're coming into new realms and realities, and we kind of have to, because it's a new water cycle. So water is our memory. So your soul, your individual soul, is accumulating your memories through all these different simulations that you are connecting to. But the only way that you can fully connect to that simulation is to not consciously operate from that memory. So that's the point of, we have this balance here where we can't remember everything that we've been through in past lives. That's so many infinite Virgo details, too demonic, too much detail to her, not even practical. But that's what I'm all about, by the way. It's just, that's the stuff that makes life possible. I love details. That's why, I mean, you look at my Spider-Man costumes, that's kind of why these girls have, I'm sure, been so adamant about chasing me through conventions. They've never said it, but as a Virgo, I believe that what makes my costume so good and why people react to my art is because I obsess over little details. And I love, this is why I love simulations. I love how all these small, tiny little details, all these little patterns come together to make something bigger, better, and even more beautiful. And that, like, you could look at something like, whoa, that looks dope. And then like, yeah, but look closer. And then it just gets doper and doper and doper. Like a tree, bro. You know, that's what nature is. That's what this reality is. So, love that. All right, that's what Virgo is all about. It's just about then making sure that you don't get too hung up on the details, because they don't really matter in the grand scheme of building a memory of the experience. Of course, though, people do like photos that are higher resolution. So people like details, all right? So this is why I'm eternally Chase Parents Calloway. I'm eternally the symmetry. Simulations must call me away to play out the communicator role and share Hermeticism and share Simicism, because we're creating something new here. This is all new. This is all new. So I'm playing out self-love right now. Like, self-love is truly connecting with yourself. And this is why L-O-V-E is love, whereas L-I-V-E, to live, is the ego. So living is egoic, loving is spiritual. When you love yourself, you're in your own O. You're in your own space. When you're living, when you're alive, you're outside of your space. That's the I, right? So now your I is allowing you to look outside of yourself. The only reason that you have your own I to look outside of yourself is because you are in your own O. It's just about if you're focusing on your own O, and if you are creating inside of your own O, or if you are actually exiting your O. And that's you using your I to then be like, let me leave my home and go outside of my O and go outside of myself. And now you're living. So the only reason you're able to live is because you love yourself to some degree. That's why your heart is beating. It doesn't matter how much you don't really love yourself. The fact is you do, or else your heart would not be beating. So your heart beating is that expression of your oh, I am alive. Whoa, how do I feel about that? What do I do? So the whole point is, you as a spirit, you love yourself already. And you love yourself to the point where you've created the opportunity to be aware in a body that is created by all these spirits who love you enough to connect together. So this is where then, yeah, like, what is love? Like, let's look at love a little more. Love is what you want in your own space. Right? So we can think of love as heaven. Like, everyone loves, there we go. Everyone would love to be in heaven. So when I think about heaven, when I think about love, to love being in heaven is literally to love being with yourself. You want to be alone. And in general, your idea of heaven is your expression of love. So this is why we are all separated by how we love. Like, my idea of heaven is being connected with Anubis forever, if I'm going to be real. After this lifetime and everything I went through having him as a dog and then him leaving, no way. So that's the point of then me being so happy to do what I'm doing now, which is literally just living out, being the symmetry, living out, being Hermes, creating Mercury, and being connected with Atlantis, and combining Anubis's 2 with my 4 so we can have 6 and create life for all of these spirits, for all of our family, for all of our 5. And then making that practical. So honestly, I'm in heaven right now. Honestly, I am in heaven when I'm with you. And that's the point of Hermes. Here I am. I'm bringing heaven to earth, literally. Like, I'm in heaven when I'm with you because I am Hermanubis. I'm connected with my best friend throughout time and space, and I'm able to share with you how you're in heaven. And I want you to be in heaven, because then when I get to go to Mercury and reflect on life, it's a way better movie. It's a way better universe, because now everyone is happy and harmonious inside of their own space first before they express themselves. So this is where, again, heaven is 1-0. Hell is 1. I come down into here as a spirit and I relay to you, hey, just know that you are a spirit creating yourself. So now, even though it appears like we're in hell, it appears like we're all one individual, right? Because we're all one. We're all in one fire, one imagination. In reality, this is heaven, because we're all zeros combining our ones together. And the more we realize that we're already in heaven, we can actually turn hell into heaven by bringing our spiritual awareness, our spiritual circumstances into the visions that we are seeing and creating together right now. That's pretty deep. But it's all in the numbers. That's why I'm the god of the numbers. Because it just makes sense. Like all the numbers, My awakening this lifetime has just been truly like so organic and wild. Shout out DMT. Straight up. Shout out fasting and shout out DMT. Shout out being able to leave my body and observe the infinite ways that spirits use light and vibrations to communicate. So then I can translate that into English. And like being able to go on the internet and learn like, yeah, I'm Hermes. I'm the interpretive communicator. Dang. Like I've always been doing this. That's pretty cool. I mean, I can't help but be myself. And it's because I love myself throughout time that I'm consistently building structures that are recognizable, which is the point of Mercury. That's my niche right there. This is who I am. Literally. Like, I am Mercury because Mercury is the expression of my spirit stabilizing its space in a way that serves the universe. So, of course, I'm not actually Mercury, but my business is my life. You know, I've combined my pleasure and my business. This is symmetry as a superhero, knowing that I can't save you, but I can teach you how to save yourself. And saving yourself is just realizing that you are a spirit expressing your imagination with other spirits inside the universe. So now you don't have to feel like you're in hell. You don't have to feel like you are the body and you are restricted to the body you're in. You can know that you are actually circumstances outside of that body, and you are bringing your circumstances into that body. So now heaven is, you just know it's all in your mind. And now you're just bringing heaven into here. And we can more consciously communicate how we all want our heavens to interact. Because otherwise you would just be alone. The fact is, you are already alone in your imagination, but you want to bring it to all of us. So, self-love is connecting with yourself. It's wanting to be with yourself. It is desiring to be with yourself. And it is doing that in a natural way that result. And when I say nature, notice how nature grows. So nature shows. Right? So you can literally look over and see, okay, there's a barren wasteland. Like, there's nothing next to my home. I'm cool. But then over 3 months, it can rain to where now you have plants overgrowing your home. And you're like, whoa, how'd this happen? It was so barren. Well, nature grows. Nature shows. Spirits were so abundant in their desire to connect with each other that they created structures to support that. And they made something from nothing. And it did start with rain, of course. It started with that feeling.